I remember this guy, Dave. Been thinking about this a lot lately. There's a guy from childhood, but I knew him all the way up through high school. I have this memory of taking him to a camp with me. I think I was 11. Yeah, we were somewhere around 11. I don't know, 6th grade, something like that. Camp was called Camp Good News. And he was maybe going through some shit, I don't know. But that's kind of a memory I have. I hope that's fair. But I remember him changing his name from his last name around that period. Like his mom got divorced or something. But Dave, he comes with me to this camp for whatever reason. It's a bad week. Let's put it that way. I don't remember much from this week other than this incident in the cabin. And when we're talking about a cabin, it's the typical everyone's in a bunk bed kind of situation. Small little cabin. No porch. It's red. And we have this counselor this week. And you know how when you're a kid, you don't know exactly why something is off with an adult, but you have this kind of uncanny knack for knowing how people older than you don't seem to know what they're doing. There's something off about them. This guy had that, this counselor. I think I remember him refusing to have a counselor nickname too. Like a lot of counselors having funny nicknames. I feel like he just wanted us to call him by his first name, like Chris or something. I think he was blonde, skinny, surfer kind of looking guy, but not cool surfer, like a real uptight surfer. You could tell he didn't get along with the other counselors or whatever. He was an outcast. So you didn't like an outcast leading your cabin, But he had this energy, like a chip on his shoulder. He'd been kind of shunned by society or somehow. And he'd play us Christian music and get real moved by it. And I hated Christian music. I think I'm ashamed to say this, but I had a period where I loved Christian music. I grew up I believed in Jesus and all that stuff when I was a kid. I accepted Jesus maybe a good 20 times. They had to tell me to stop doing it because it was, it was such a rush. And I'm not saying my beliefs weren't real. I had real, legitimate experiences, I think. I'm not kind of there anymore, but long story short, this counselor, he would play these songs and just something seemed fake about it. Like they were, the song had Jesus and a bird in it. They all had that. And Dave knew there was something wrong with this guy. He could sense it. Anyway, there's this moment where, I don't know, there's a standoff. This is what I remember about the whole week, nothing else. I remember the counselor making Dave get off of his bunk and getting down on the floor and doing push-ups, like making him do push-ups and whipping him with this towel, and Dave crying. And, I'm thinking, man, I brought him. This is, I felt terrible about it. And I think I was trying to get Dave to believe in Jesus at the time. I think I was doing that thing. And this wasn't working out, He wasn't getting a good rep. And it was something about showering or cleanliness or something like that. I don't think there was an overt religious metaphor this counselor wanted Dave to take a shower. I don't know. But the crying and the whipping, it's pretty bad. I shouldn't be laughing about it. It's one of those things that even with time, you can't really laugh at it. It's bad. Especially knowing what Dave was probably going through at the time. Personally, I don't know the extent of it, but I know he was going through some stuff. I remember the counselor, this isn't about he's not even worried about emotional scarring. He's trying to teach us towel whipping technique and the different ways to roll up a towel to make it, into this little weapon, basically. There's a little point at the end. This is about technology for him. I don't know. I just remember the crying. Like it's not just about this incident. It's about a lot more, even though this is a terrible incident. And I haven't been able to get it out of my head. I have not been able to get that out of my head lately. But I gave him a ring.
That's exactly what I remember. Like, he was something about being clean or something like that, and he made me get down, and, like, if I remember, he was yelling at me, and you just got up and just, like, started yelling at him, and didn't you, like, tackle him into the bed or something like that?
What?
No, see, I'm making that part up. I thought that.
No, I want that to be true. I want to be a hero.
Yeah, you want to be that guy. I seriously thought that's what happened, or either that, or you just started yelling at him, getting in his face.
I mean, I felt bad about that for so long.
Why? He was a douche.
Well, so what do you mean about being clean?
Well, just like, you know, having the bunk made nice and your shoes where they're supposed to be and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. And it wasn't like a Jesus lesson or something?
He might have been twisting it like that, maybe. But, I mean, honestly, I just remember, like, me having to get down, like you said, and then I thought you started yelling at him or something happened. I don't remember exactly what it was. But, like, I just have, like you said, like I told you, the dreams of you pushing him down or doing something like that, tackling him into his bed or something. Maybe I was wrong.
Well, I want it to be that way.
That's the story I'm telling everybody.
Do you remember anything else about that week?
I think, now, if it's the week I'm thinking of, I'm thinking, like, Sarah Herb was there, and, like, she showed us her boobs. We were hanging on the swings.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, because I didn't have my glasses or something, and we were sitting by the swing doing something, and, you know, the girls was on the one side, and the guys was on the other side. Well, she walked into her bunk and turned around, and it was like, you know, I was pissed because I couldn't see him, but I remember that.
I don't remember that at all.
Like, I know, like, when you started dating Stephanie,
who?
I don't remember what her name was. Stephanie, she was blonde. I think she was
Stephanie.
Just, I remember you asking if it counts as losing your virginity if you just stick it in, like the tip of it in or something like that. I remember you asking me that question. I was like, well, I don't think so.
I don't remember that. Okay, this is like an alternate reality.
Yeah, see, I've got it. I mean, my memories from high school are not as clear as they probably should be.
Well,
hey, not to cut you short, but I got off because of the rain today. But I'm here picking up Poppy Murphy's Pizza.
Oh, nice.
And, it's great talking to you, man. But I want to go through that stuff because you're bringing up stuff that I don't remember.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring up any tragedy, but
no.
Cool, man.
So, yeah, it was good talking to you, Andy. I'll talk to you later, huh?
Okay, bye, bud.
See ya.
My guest today is comedian and actor Sharron Paul. You might recognize her once we start talking. She is the voice of the mom Francine on the kids' cartoon Fanny Fun Facts on Amazon. And she's also in a web series called Ghosted Busters. And that's been making the rounds on social media. And, sometimes I get a little nervous talking to guests, especially the part, right at the beginning, the hello, the handoff from being alone to being in someone's company. But I was good with Sharron, and I think we had a pretty epic conversation. We cover a lot of ground, both literally and figuratively. Talk about, well, you'll hear it. Why do I need to tell you? Just go with us, all right? Here's us talking back in May in Prospect Park. What the hell are we doing? What is this? What's happening?
I know, it looks weird. It's just like that lady came to meet that weird conspiracy theory guy in the park.
Yeah, this gives me cred, though, I think. As long as there's another person that's you're sort of being vouched for.
That's true. It's like
right?
too crazy. If a crazy person has a crazy friend, they can't be that crazy, right?
Yeah, it's at least there's accountability.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Should I sit close?
Yeah.
Que pasa? What's the haps?
I'm just trying to be natural. It's weird what I'm doing, but I was just talking to myself for like 20 minutes, so I need to kind of pretend like I'm talking to another human.
That's really funny.
Well, I was talking to my mom, and then I was kind of recording my intro. I don't know, do you get along with your mom? Good?
Now, yes.
Yeah?
I feel like we've always had a weird... I mean, I've always been relatively close with her, but, you know, starting in the tween years, a mother and a daughter, it gets weird.
Yeah.
And then it goes on through, I think, early adulthood.
Yeah.
And then I think you grow up and hopefully it starts to go right.
Are you like at Mother's Day present level? Like, do you get her stuff?
I've always gotten her presents.
Yeah.
Like, even when I was, like, broke with, like, 2 nickels to rub together, I'd always get her at least something.
Yeah.
But I'm also not necessarily the type to just be like, it's Mother's Day, let's go to brunch, let's see a play, let's see your friends. Like, it's never been that.
She here?
Yeah. I grew up in Brooklyn. My mom's here.
Okay. Yeah, mine's in Bloomington, Illinois. So
There's some distance. Did you send her something for Mother's Day?
No.
Ooh.
I know everyone acts like it's such a big deal, but it would actually be weirder if I did at this point. It's been, our family isn't like a gift-giving, happy birthday family. I love my family.
Are you secret Jehovah's Witnesses?
I grew up Baptist. There's some similarity. Although, did you grow up?
Yeah.
Jehovah's Witness or Baptist?
No, Baptist.
Good, because...
Good.
No, because growing up, they were like heretics, right? Jehovah's Witnesses were like... Did you have that?
No,
like,
not that they
Mormons?
were heretics. It was just like, that shit's annoying when they ring your bell more so than anything. Not necessarily they're heathens or anything like that. Like, I grew up, I feel like, in a pretty chill Baptist upbringing.
Yeah.
My church is literally known as like Church Unusual, and our reverend like cursed from the pulpit. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was
like what kind
fun.
of curse?
I mean, he said what came to his mind.
Like
he
fuck?
never bit his tongue. I mean, maybe
say?
not necessarily a fuck, but like a shit or something might fly.
Damn or shit.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's good to know. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's... Yeah. I grew up... It's sort of Baptist, sort of evangelical. Like, the church went through different ministers. I'm not really anymore. I mean, I believe in something. Mm-hmm. But I'm not like...
I think most of us get there. We're not necessarily subscribed to what we were handed when we were younger, and then we sort out what makes the most sense to us.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at.
I feel you.
Yeah. It's a beautiful day.
It is. I like it when it's a little overcast. It sounds funny, I'm not a big sun person.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I have sensitive eyes and the sun gives me a headache sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
So nature actually hurts you.
Oh, and I'm allergic to everything. So yeah, nature hurts a lot.
What are
like
you
when you first hit the park, I was like, can I do it? But I'm heavily medicated right now, so I can breathe and I'm all right.
That sucks. Allergies are the worst.
Yeah.
Can I ask you how old you are?
I just turned 30.
You did?
Yes.
Oh man, that's a fun age.
So far so good. I'm into it. I've been 30 like a week and a half. And it's nice.
I don't know you other than kind of through the mutual admiration society that is Facebook. And my buddy Mark, he's like, you should talk to is it Sharron or Sharron?
Sharron.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, you should talk to her. So I was like, okay. Yeah.
I listened to his episode and I was like, oh, that sounds like a really fun podcast.
Mark has a handsome demeanor.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but that is a very nice thing to say.
Yeah. I like Mark a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Gerber for the record.
You're right. Thank you. Look at you. Professional. Are you good? Do you need like water or coffee or
I'm
food
set
or
with my
anything?
water. I had a nice lunch or brunch, I guess, with Sharron's Spell. We had a commercial edition this morning.
Oh, yeah.
And fingers crossed, hopefully we get it. Hopefully by the time this is released, I'll be all over the televisions.
Really?
Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see.
What? Can you tell me what it's for?
Sure, it was for Burger King.
What?
Like I said, I hope I get it.
Do they still say flame broiled?
I don't know, I think they do.
Is the Whopper still the main?
The Whopper's still the main thing. It was literally for like a Whopper commercial.
Have you noticed the Whopper's it's smaller? Progressively over time. I feel like when I was a kid, maybe I just got bigger, but I feel like when I was a kid...
you assuredly did get bigger from when you were a
right.
kid.
No, maybe. Some parts of me have gotten bigger. But
your eyes have stayed the same size
my emotions and my penis are the exact same size as when I noticed the Whopper was huge.
So specific.
I just was like, I made a mental note at the time. I'm like, that thing is bigger than my dick. I better.
Do you compare all foods to your dick?
No, I don't know why I'm even doing this. I don't care anymore. But
you're like, I quit.
You don't, actually I don't, but like I remember as a kid, it was really funny. It never got old. Like if you were with your buddy to just like grab a squash and just like pretend it was your dick.
How often were squashes lying around?
Well, I grew up on a squash farm, so there were just squash everywhere.
There you go.
I'm making that up. No, I just mean like in the grocery store, it was always fun to grab a phallic object and just be like, nah. It was so funny. It was so basic. It's still like, funny. Well, it's weird.
Phallic things are humorous regardless. I think no matter how old you are or what gender you are, there's just something funny about a phallus.
It is fun, yeah.
Even the word phallus is kind of funny.
Yeah. Do you wish you had one ever?
No,
or
no, I don't think so.
I shouldn't be like, I shouldn't joke. I don't know if you have a dick.
No, I don't have a penis. Again, for the record, I do not have a penis.
I'm so sorry.
My voice is a little deeper than usual, but that's the allergies talking. I mean, I'm one of those, I don't have penis envy, but there's always that one for a day seems interesting.
Yeah. What would it be like kind of thing?
I mean, I don't know just because I've never had one. But I mean, it seems like an interesting thing. It's just something that's just, I don't want to say flopping around all the time because you wear pants and stuff.
Right.
But the fact that even inside of your pants, there's just something that's not internal.
It's true. It's different.
It's a completely different situation.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what it would be like to have a vagina. I don't know if I'd want a whole day with it.
Just like an hour or two?
Maybe like a weekend at a nice B&B.
Take it for nice walks.
No, I wouldn't leave I don't think we'd leave the hotel. Probably.
You and your vagina?
Yeah, me and my weekend rental.
What would that website be called? As simple as rentavagina.com? Airbnb?
Nice. That was good. That is the timing and the mind that make you a comic professional. I thought crotch B&B, but that's Airbnb is. But then you want be able to rent a dick.
Okay,
so
Airbnb.
Oh my god. I'm self-conscious about this because it's like 10 minutes in and we already started talking about dicks and vaginas.
Well, you know what? This is all in your control. If you want to edit it around and put this toward the end where things can be bluer and saltier, that's your prerogative.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Hey, man. Should I say man?
She seemed happy about it.
I said man.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's also a baby. It wasn't a full-grown person, so
yeah.
I don't think she was offended.
Okay.
You also don't know how she identifies yet.
Right.
She might use Airbnb one day.
It's getting to where it's like really fraught just to say hi to people. You just leave pronouns out of it for the first day or two, I think. When you
I do a podcast about RuPaul's Drag Race.
About it?
Yeah.
What's it called?
The Shade of It All.
Nice.
And it's so funny how loosey-goosey we are with pronouns, because you're talking about drag queens. Like, these people are men, but you rarely see them as men. So it's like saying she comes naturally, but then it becomes weird when you're talking about them out of drag and you're still just very accustomed to saying she.
Yeah.
So it's just like, is this the right thing to say? I don't know. I quit. Like, you just kind of toss pronouns aside.
Yeah. Do you remember your first experience with, like, a transgender person?
I want to say yes, or at least the first person that I knew was transgender, because you
Really?
don't always know.
Yeah.
You can't assume, and sometimes people have transitioned before you've met them, so
Right.
you wouldn't necessarily be aware. But to my knowledge, the first time was probably
Careful, you're covering it.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
To my knowledge, the first time was probably in like 2008.
Yeah.
At a party, I met someone who was just beginning to transition, and like she took to me very quickly and just started telling me about the process. Like, we became fast friends. And it's funny, she moved to Florida. She popped up on my newsfeed today on Facebook, and I'm like, she went to town. She just got her boobs and they look amazing.
Nice, yeah.
Like, her name has changed and everything since I met her, and it's just like, she seems to be flourishing as a woman, and it's great.
That's a much more positive experience than mine. I looking back, there was a woman who was transitioning. I was in high school, and so it was all very distant. But I remember, oh my God, that poor person. I mean, it's a high school in Normal, Illinois.
Yeah, I can't fathom that.
Okay, so she's transitioned, and it's also before it's even really in the culture yet.
Right.
Or it's in the culture, but I mean,
it wasn't mainstream yet.
It's not like it is now.
Not nearly mainstream.
Dude, so, I mean, I remember people called her shim.
Yeah, that's so rude. Oh God, it is the rudest. That is dehumanizing.
From a mathematical perspective, it makes the most sense. I mean, I'm not going to defend it. It's terrible.
Mathematically.
Well, I mean, it's the worst thing. I mean, that's the least of her problems.
But the guy from that whatever said it, and I was like, you know what? Finally, somebody else said it instead of, what I'm saying?
Do you want to hear what you sound like?
Sure. I love listening to strangers' conversations as they walk by and trying to figure out where the story began and where it's going.
Do you speak? Was it Spanish?
They were speaking English. Oh, that's hilarious.
Sometimes I have real trouble with discerning.
Accents?
No, it was accents, but this is okay because I can do this, but in a room, it all sounds like garbled, and it's like an auditory thing.
Okay, so if people aren't talking to you, you're really not tuned in?
It's hard. Even now, I think part of the reason I do this is because it's practice, because it
forces you to listen.
I have to be present and not drift off, and so it's hard sometimes. But yeah, that I didn't even hear. I heard it sounded, the tone of it, the music of it sounded like we were having an issue.
Oh no, she was telling him a story about something with other people. I'm the opposite of you. It's all nonsense and garbled to you, whereas I'm like, oh really? I want details. I'm just nosy that way, and I'm just like, what are they talking about?
I know.
What are they into?
I love to eavesdrop. I think I've heard people have said to me that this podcast seems like a very eavesdrop.
It's voyeuristic.
Yeah, they often comment that it feels like I shouldn't have been listening and it was on the outside or whatever.
Which I think is cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of. I've had so many good conversations in my life where I felt like, not to be voyeuristic or whatever. What's the word when you're exhibitionistic? Mm-hmm. But I wish that I had them recorded often.
Same. I've always been that way since high school. If I'm talking to friends and they say something that I think is hilarious, I write it down. I've always quoted my friends, and they're just like, no, don't write that down, because they're so ashamed of things they've said sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, do you understand how funny this is? Or even how profound things are sometimes? Yeah. And so the whole thing for a long time was just, Sharron, no, don't quote me. I feel like that was the biggest quote from everyone I knew for years.
Don't quote.
No, Sharron, don't quote me.
That must be a writer-y thing. Would you say you're a writer?
I am a writer, but I feel like I just became comfortable embracing that role.
Isn't it nice? Have you ever had someone say to you, before they know you're a comic or a writer, they're like, are you a comedian or a writer? Have you had that experience?
What I had that experience more so before I was a comic and a writer.
Isn't that weird?
I feel like people talked me into it. They like secreted me into comedy and writing.
Yeah, you get kind of channeled in because you start to get these comics, right? And then you start doing it, and maybe you have a vessel for it now, so you're not trying to take it out on everybody. So
I don't feel like I ever forced like jokes on anyone or anything, because that's never been who I've been.
Yeah.
I also literally would say I could never be a stand-up comedian because I don't tell jokes. I'm not a jokey person. I may quip in conversation, but I've never been jokes. That's
jokes
not my
are
jam.
Stupid. I hate jokes. They're dumb. Can you move your hair? Your hair's on the... Sorry.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. And it's really funny because we're just sitting close on a park bench, and that seemed like a fetishy thing. Can you please... Can you move your hair? Just move your hair, please.
So what you're saying is we don't look like... So what's that scenario that you just commented on? Like what are you, like my fetish prostitute?
I was like, that's an awkward ass title.
Fetish prostitute.
I don't know. Are we like a Craigslist hookup? I don't know.
Are we?
Maybe.
Did we swipe? What is it, right?
Yeah. Well, that's Tinder. Yeah. That'll be swiping
I don't do
right.
that anymore. I met somebody, and I never met anyone on Tinder. I never went on a date from Tinder. It never worked out. It never panned out for me.
Did you initiate conversations?
Yeah. But it's just like there's the suspicion. No matter what you say, right out of the gate is like... Or they just think a nice line, buddy. It's like, I just am trying to start. Oh. Give me a break.
Well, what was your opening
don't
line?
Do that.
No.
I'm fine.
I believe you. Did you have a go-to opening line?
I would ask women if they had plants at one point.
Where did you want or imagine the conversation going after you asked that question?
Just to go. Just get started. Like, hello, let's start talking. That's what it should be. Mm-hmm. But you gotta have a thing. You gotta come out and like dun jazz hands. Like, you gotta have a thing. I hate that.
Huh.
Or not have a thing, and that's your thing, though.
Yeah, not having a thing is a good thing, or having a great thing is a thing. I feel like if someone asked me if I had plants, I'm like, what kind of weird shit is this guy into if he asked me if I had plants?
See, now I seem like a weird pervert. I feel like you're really typecast, because I'm sorry I called you a fetish prostitute. Can we go back?
No, it's okay. And also, I don't want to pigeonhole you into being some weird pervert. But plants, I would really, because I'm not saying that you strike me that way as being weird, but like, I feel like if that's the first thing a guy said to me on Tinder,
well, that's a different scenario.
What the hell? That's weird. I would literally think this dude was weird.
What I would say, move your hair? Could you move your hair?
Do you mind taking a picture where you've moved your hair?
That would be the creepiest. Could you send me a gif of you moving your hair? See, that's not that creepy.
Guys have said weirder shit to me, so like I get it.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, at this point it's all played out. Are you trying to meet, are you dating somebody, or where are you at?
No, I'm not dating anyone, and I'm definitely on Tinder, but very lazily at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's thing is, like, trying to meet people online is like a part-time job. You have to really have the time and the patience and the concentration for it.
I saw an article that called it the slush pile. Like, there's just a mass of people you got to get through.
Yeah, it's true. But, like, I mean, dating in New York is weird because it's just, like, everyone has this weird buffet mentality.
Buffet?
Because it's just, like, you always feel like there's a whole smorgasbord in front of you. You don't have to eat just mashed potatoes because there's chicken and asparagus and hamburgers there and bacon and sushi. Like, there's everything out there, and it's all literally in the palm of your hand. Why settle for one thing? But then we've all fucked up because it's just like, oh, wait, no, I don't have anyone. Oops.
Oh, wait, I don't have anyone. Oops.
Yeah, that's dating in New York. The end.
Smorgasbord is a good analogy, too, because you don't know what's been sneezed on. You
exactly.
Know what I mean? How long it's been sitting there.
Like, those chicken wings may have fallen on the floor and somebody put them back in the tray like they were fine.
What's your favorite buffet item? Speaking of buffet. Do you have a favorite, a go-to?
I do. It depends on the kind of buffet, but the kind of buffets that I like usually have crab legs.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I wouldn't go for crab legs even in real life. Or not real life. You know what I'm saying?
In some fantasy land where we're going for crab legs.
I'm saying, like, yeah, some fancy place. Like, I don't think I'd go for... Are you cold?
No, I'm okay.
I don't think I'd go for crab legs.
Never? Are you not a fan of crab legs?
I had some, like, recently, and then I guess, I don't know. Maybe I should look into it. I don't go to a lot of buffets where they have crab legs. I don't know. I guess I go for wings. Mm-hmm. They're safe. You just...
well, it depends. If you're going to a buffet... like where it's like an all-you-can-eat situation and you're sitting down, sure, wings are cool. But if you're going to like a buffet where you're paying for stuff by the pound, never get anything with bones and go for things with minimal liquid.
Oh my God. That's good advice. No bones, minimal liquid.
Uh-huh.
Kale. That's a...
Man, you'd rack up if you're getting kale
you could get...
by the pound.
I haven't been to a buffet in a while. I am very scared of a New York buffet, I think. I think I find that frightening. I don't know why we're talking about buffet.
We got here. New York dating led us to buffets.
Do you do this in conversation where you're like...
How the hell did we get here?
In the other part of your brain that's going... Now she thinks I want to talk about buffet. Now I'm stuck here because I got to talk... I brought it up. So this is what's going on in your head. You're like... I gotta talk about it, and then you're like, why did I say that thing about fetish prostitutes? That's fucking weird. And then I gotta tell her hair's in front of the mic again. How many times I gotta tell her? I'm worried that she's gonna get mad at me.
No. Mm-mm.
And then you're looking at the group of Hasidic people on the, what is that? The house bike?
I don't know. It's a bike for the whole family.
Do you know what's weird about this? I don't mean to generalize. That's all I see. The only people I see renting that bike are Hasidic Orthodox Jews.
I did not know that was a thing at all. I had no idea, but I believe you 100%. Because there are lots of things that happen where you only see Hasidic Jews doing them, so I get it.
You know what? Someone told me the other day, I go to yoga sometimes. It's Bikram yoga. Mm-hmm. That's pretentious. I go. But there's a guy in there, he's a Hasidic Jew, and I told another Hasidic Jew the other day about it, and he goes, oh, he's not supposed to be in there. It's not a thing you're supposed to do. I'm like, well, I'm not telling on Chaim.
Well, is that in the Torah that you're not supposed to do yoga?
I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, you're not. Something about...
I doubt the Torah says thou shalt not do Bikram yoga.
Yeah, but it's some kind of weird uniform cloth.
I was going to ask, what does he wear?
I think he still wears his head covering, because I think that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But he in the locker room, he has this white thing with dangling...
Tallits? The strings by the waist? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sound good, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been told I have a mellifluous voice.
Yeah?
And I'm just like, I appreciate that. I heard this secondhand. They were just like, someone told a friend, if she's not doing voiceovers, that is a waste.
That's nice to hear.
That's a very nice thing to say.
It is one of the nicer compliments is your voice or your breath. I grew up being told my breath was terrible.
Oh no.
My brother just decided to wage war on my ability to be intimate with any human being. So I'd walk in the room and he'd be like, is that you?
That is terrible.
Oh, it's terrible.
He's a terrorist. He's an emotional terrorist.
Well,
he ruined you.
He didn't live, so I win, I guess.
Shit.
That's an old joke of mine. He was funny though, so I mean, that's the thing about him is he would have let me joke about his own death. Not at first, but
How long ago did he die?
5 years ago.
Okay.
Do you have any dead people in your life?
Oh, so many dead people in my life.
Really?
I've dealt with a lot of death from the jump. Yeah, I always say that I only see my family at funerals. Because, I'm more people die than get married. So our family gatherings are usually funerals.
No wonder you're always going to buffets. That's a funeral. That's a funeral. That's a funeral thing, right?
That is. I guess it's technically a funeral thing because what's really funny and really terrible is I have a bunch of family in Philly, so whenever I go to a funeral in Philly, I know the food will be great because we always go to the same place and the same person makes the spread. So I'm just like, oh, this is a Philly funeral. Oh, I hope they have the cakes that they had last time. But yeah, no, because like I have a big family, and like we had a reunion in 2009, and I was sharing a hotel room with my cousin, and she asked me, how do you know everyone? Which I think is a really sad and shitty thing to ask about our family, because she never goes to anything.
Oh.
And I was just like, I go to funerals. That's literally how I know everyone.
Wait a minute. Your family? She's family?
This is my cousin, yeah.
How do you ask how you know everyone? That's a family. It's a family.
Yeah, she's never around. I hadn't seen her in years. Also, speaking of never being around, she just had her second baby, like, on the low. Like, she got married on the low. She had her kids on the low, and it's just like, oh, look, here's my husband. Here's my kids. No one's invited to anything.
Huh. Is it out of bad blood?
No, there's no bad, there's no blood. There's no blood. Like,
yeah.
She's just never been family oriented with, I don't know if it's this side of the family or just in general.
That makes me laugh because I was thinking about, like, if someone saw you sitting with your mom, you're like, this is my mom. They're like, oh, how do you know her? But how do you know? It's my mom. It's like,
yeah, this is kind of how this works.
Yeah,
we know
right?
each other. But
I do have family like that are like, you go to the family reunion, you're like embarrassed because you don't know their name and you've seen them year after year, but it's like an uncle.
Yeah, because I mean, I understand that with big distant families, but so I guess maybe she was just confused and impressed because, like I said, we don't really get together outside of funerals. So it's just like, we haven't had a family reunion in like 16 years. How the hell do you know everyone? I was just like, I go to every single funeral, and that's how I catch up with my family. Sad but true.
Yeah. You know what's weird is I haven't talked to I'm realizing as I'm talking to you, I really haven't talked to a new person in my life for a little bit while. I keep it safe.
Yeah.
I said a little bit while.
That's fine. Words are unimportant. I feel like I should be on a bike. Everyone on a bike is smiling real big right now.
It's true. You don't see a lot of scowling on bikes.
Which would be hilarious, though.
Yeah. I bet in France there's a lot more scowling on bikes. Oh, shit, the wind.
We can sit still if you want. If the wind is going to fuck us up.
I do, but I wanted to take you. Do you watch serial television? Do you watch like The Americans? Do you know that show?
I know of the show. I don't watch it.
Well, they film shit. It's supposed to be in D.C., but they're always film shit in this park.
That sounds backwards.
I was gonna I know. They're like tricking people. We can go. Yeah, we'll go over here. I gotta get on this side, though.
Okay.
So the Burger King commercial, though. Do you remember what you had to say?
The concept was friends who love burgers. So Sharron and I were doing it together.
Friends who love.
I didn't sign anything, so I guess I can talk about it.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, you can, if you need to not have it.
So it was just us doing a scene talking about, like, how many Whoppers we think we've had in a lifetime.
How many?
Well, the script was just like, okay, 3 a week, 52 weeks a year, for such and such years.
3 a week?
Minus
that
1.
Seems high.
That is so fucking excessive.
I'm not, yeah. 3 Whoppers a week.
And, like, for the record, like, I don't even eat beef, so I haven't.
You don't?
No. So I haven't had a Whopper since I was a really young kid. I think I've had, like, literally one in a lifetime. But Burger King doesn't need to know that if they're hiring me.
No. Friends who love burgers.
Yeah. So it's just having a weird conversation about how much you love Whoppers. I haven't been inside this park in so long. I take it for granted.
I know. I love this park. I just like to watch people at the rink sometimes. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, let's say hi to the ducks.
And generally, I don't like birds, but ducks are cool.
Our ducks are birds, I guess, right? You don't, yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely birds, but they're aquatic birds. So I was having a discussion with someone the other day. I'm like, are ducks both poultry and seafood?
You say it with such certainty that these are aquatic birds.
I mean, they're birds in the water. That's a fact, that they're aquatic birds. I don't know how that could be disputed.
Sorry, guys. Do you mind if I take a photo?
Oh, sorry.
Thanks.
Oh,
Okay,
oh,
come.
yeah.
Oh, no, come. Yes, that's why I give you my bag.
Wait, of us?
No.
Oh.
Us.
I thought you wanted to take a picture
We're not
of us.
that famous yet, Andy.
What are we doing?
I love it.
She did say of, though.
That's what I'm...
Yeah, she said, but I knew what she meant. We can play back the audio, yeah.
Well, I got it.
Oh my god, I totally want a paddle boat. Now I can't wait for it to be
Oh my
warm.
god, we should do that, can we?
I doubt it's the season for it
That's
yet.
a good idea.
Hi, puppy! So cute. I'm sorry, I was like, look at all the animals.
No, I know. There's a lot of them.
What I don't want to...
It made me think about all the selfies that you see. If you could see all the people looking at the person taking the selfie.
Oh, that would be a great photo series.
Yeah.
That would be an amazing photo series.
This is, I don't know what this is. I guess it's there. Well, that's the skating rink. I don't know what this is. I'm still taking issue with your aquatic bird claim.
Why? What is your problem with it?
I would say that it's true.
Mm-hmm. But
I don't think most people are going to say, yeah, those are aquatic birds. Like,
So-
I think that's a...
what birds would you say it applies to more automatically than ducks?
I don't know. I'm just going to... something that's going to stay with me.
What do you
I'm
think
gonna-
about? Like seagulls and pelicans and things?
Seagull, not an aquatic bird. Do
No,
they?
no, no, I
They
don't
go
think
in the water.
But they don't like live there or anything. They chill near the water. What about flamingos? Flamingos also live near water.
Aquatic. I don't know why. It's the certainty with which you said it. I was like, you don't get to say that. What are you, a bird expert?
How dare you try to bring me down a peg?
And the confidence you had about it was going to rain.
It's still gonna rain. I don't know why you doubt that either.
Oh, look, we can sit under these things. This is nice.
That's Spanish this time.
All right.
That's fascinating to me though.
What?
The fact that like you don't necessarily check into the words that are happening around you.
There is it has a name. It's called presbyacusis. And it's that everything, like especially loud rooms, parties are a nightmare.
I can imagine.
Like if I'm talking to you like this in a room with lots of people, you only get so many whats in a conversation before the other person gets mad.
True.
What do you get? Maybe 3, and then they're like, "Are you fucking with me?" Mm-hmm. You know.
That reminds me of my grandfather because like he was very soft spoken, and he kind of mumbled, so it was a lot of huh and what's when he spoke. So like you could ask him like 3 times, and everything was just never mind. And I'm like, how much wisdom did I miss from my grandfather because I couldn't hear him? I'm so curious. Like I could never hear him.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, I probably missed a lot.
You probably did. That's the sad part
without a
about
doubt,
it.
I definitely did.
Were you guys close?
For someone who was quiet, yeah, as close as can be. Like, he picked me up from school every day when I was little. Like, my parents worked, and like the school bus brought me to my grandparents' house, and he was the one who would like meet the van and take me upstairs and stuff. And it was always, how are you? What'd you learn in school today? Did you have fun? And that was like the extent of our conversation. But I was also like a talkative little kid. So he would ask those questions, and then it was just me blabbering on about something until we got upstairs, and then I'd go play or do my homework or whatever it was.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, school, like elementary school and like kindergarten and stuff. Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that thing. I was always like one of the advanced kids, so I wasn't being challenged. As
Clearly,
I like to say.
with your confidence about the weather and the birds.
It was cool. My 5th grade teacher, like, straight up told my mom, like, she has to get out of here. This is not challenging for her. Like, got me the paperwork to go to a better school.
Nice.
So that was awesome.
And then you went to a better school.
Mm-hmm.
Shit changes your life.
It's true.
Somebody, like some little thing, somebody kind of intervened. That's the thing. It's like those things. It's hard to take note of because they made your life better, and you don't really know that something really good probably,
Oh no, I know for a fact that that was a game changer. Yeah.
I need to do a better job of remembering tallying those things, like the good things that have happened to me, instead of just logging all the slights, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, fuck the slights. They're unnecessary.
And you program your brain to be that way, you know? And so when I do try to think that way, it feels foreign when I try to think about, you know, gratitude and all that stuff. I have to, like, fucking...
Yeah, it's time for some reprogramming. I'm big on gratitude. Hey, it's raining.
I know. See, well, I have no right to be annoyed by her. She was here talking, and then we came and sat down.
Yeah.
She's wandering off.
That's how I talk on the phone, too. I can't stay still. I always
You
pace.
speak in Spanish?
I yell in Spanish and pace around in public. That's how I talk on the phone.
I do that. There is something about it. You all of a sudden you forget where you are and that you're around people. You get lost in that. Doesn't it feel like we've come a long way since we started?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I was on edge a little bit.
Because I'm a new person?
And, you know, I'm just, new person.
In your mood?
You know what these are? Mood. Although, I think this is, it's like a performative conversation, right? So there's like a artifice to it, you know? It's like, if these mics weren't on, I'm always thinking about, like, what would this be like if our mics weren't on?
I think there'd be a lot more silence if mics weren't on.
We can have silence. We won't have silence. I try to work on that, but the people I'm with are often like, what the fuck? You're gonna say something?
Why aren't you talking?
I'll out-silence you. This guy can't.
That's so funny.
That would go.
You failed.
Well, I didn't fail. I'm just being a responsible podcast
No, I
producer.
know. I was going to say, responsible podcaster / save yourself some editing time in general. But
yeah.
That's really funny. Imagine it's just like, all right, time to play the silent game. Should be a segment on all of your podcasts.
That sounds like a mean thing to say to someone. Like, time to play the silent game.
What did you say to little kids when you've just had enough?
Yeah. Do you believe in afterlife?
Yes, I believe in there being something after this, and I don't know if that's a place like heaven or if it's reincarnation or some mix of the two. Some people go someplace, some go another. Because there was things that I heard, and by heard I mean things that I've read.
Yeah.
Where there's an interesting concept to me, and I think it resonates to a certain degree. Like, we're here to learn and better our souls, I guess. And once we've learned the things we've needed to learn in these lifetimes, we ascend.
I like that.
And, you know, and until you learn the lessons you need to learn, you keep living lives. Like, just until you get it. But, like, what makes reincarnation seem real to me? When I was younger, when I was about 8, I had... Also, like, I was a very serious child.
Yeah.
I was very serious. I get more youthful with age.
Huh.
I was very no-nonsense. The day I started kindergarten, like, again, only child, I was never really around little kids because my parents were older and their friends had their kids years ago.
Yeah.
So I was just... my dad would take me to work with him. He would take me wherever he went. So, just, again, me sitting in the corner observing adults all the time. My first day of kindergarten, I didn't go to preschool or daycare or anything. I walked in and I said, again, full sentences, these children are running around as if they've lost their minds. That's 5-year-old me to get a taste of who I was.
That's really good.
Not even, these kids are crazy. These children are running around as if they've lost their minds.
Oh, yeah, that's cute.
That's what I was like at 5. But at 8, that entire year kind of just felt like deja vu. It was literally, why am I here? Like, my thought process was, why am I here? I've done this all before. I had the overwhelming sense of I've done this all before. Why am I doing this again? And I think that was in the concept of literally childhood. Like, I've been a child before. Why am I doing this again?
That's really interesting. I've never heard that from anybody. But, yeah, that's amazing.
And my dad swears on everything. When I was really little, I would tell him the story of my birth. Like, I remembered being born when I was young.
That gives me chills.
I'm like, I don't remember it now, but he's just like, you would say something about bright lights and seeing half a face. And I was like, as in, like, literally entering the world? That's crazy.
Wow. That's amazing.
So, yeah, I don't know. And then my grandmother used to say, I was brought here to bring peace to the world. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. We'll see.
That'd be a good Twitter byline. Brought here to bring peace to the world. We'll see. Oh my god.
I love that concept.
Yeah. Huh.
So I don't know. I used to be I don't want to say used to, but I guess more so into some new agey spirituality stuff. But yeah, just reincarnation feels too real to me.
That's interesting. A whole year you remember feeling that way. The rational, like the sciencey guy in me wants to go like, well, did you have some trauma that happened right around that time that made you maybe detach or something? But I also do believe I am kind of a supernaturalist too. There is a lot more.
I've seen ghosts and stuff. Like, there used to be a woman in my house.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah. It never felt like a threat or anything, but she was there. I'd see her. Like, it was never in a fully actualized form, but like, I would see things out of the corner of my eye. I would, you know the feeling of someone else being in a room with you?
I do.
I would feel that and be home alone quite often. And I have a friend who doesn't believe in any of that shit, and she spent the night in my house, and she was like, I fucking saw a woman in your kitchen. She freaked out. And she was just like that. But like, the way she described her, like, she saw this woman better than I ever had. And I thought that was insane. But yeah, no, that's real to me.
I had one of those after my brother died. I don't tell many people about this, but I was living in this apartment in Salt Lake City, and I was really heavily in grief at that point. Mm-hmm. And there's a part of me that wants to go like, you created this experience for yourself. But it was so strong that I got in there. I hadn't really turned the lights on yet, mm-hmm. and I had to leave my apartment. It was so intense. I was like, I gotta go. And I was scared. You know how you get scared that you're actually reacting to something that's really irrational, so that even makes you more scared. You're like, I'm leaving my apartment right now because I think that my brother's here. So that's scary.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, well, that's mean that you're leaving him here.
Yeah, I can see that.
But he shouldn't have just shown up unannounced.
Well, he was trying to announce himself, and you were just like, nah, shut it down. Well, I had a cousin who died probably around that same time, like probably around 8. It wasn't traumatic to me because I didn't know him well, but I went to the funeral because that's what I do. About 2 weeks after he died, I saw him in my grandmother's house.
Damn.
Yeah.
What was he up to?
I just, it wasn't even an interaction. I just saw him at the other end of the hallway.
Oh my god, you're freaking me out, man. That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't see things the way I did. And they always say children are a lot closer to the spiritual world because they just left it. And they're not jaded.
I love that.
So what they see things for face value because they don't have cynicism yet. And we're too busy explaining things away and trying to make them logical because we're just like, no, that's a bunch of phooey. No.
And I was a kid. I remember being way more in tune with a lot of that shit.
Are you familiar with astral projection? I'm going to sound insane on this podcast.
Oh, you're long past that.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
are you familiar with it?
I've heard it. Tell me what it.
It's just like when you're spirit literally is elsewhere and kind of floats above things. Again, as a little kid, I used to think they were dreams because that's what makes sense. But I think at night I would literally I had no control over it, but I think I would go visit my family. I would visit people I knew at night and just kind of literally float over things.
Yeah.
And watch people.
Huh.
And I just remember literally like just floating through the air, like, and feel like a stereotypical ghost.
Yeah.
I would do it all the time.
Huh.
And I had no control over it, but it was something that I did regularly. If you're interested, I totally recommend reading up on it. It's an interesting phenomenon.
I try to stay open-minded. I mean, I'm of two minds. You know, I think my dad was very logical. My mom was pretty kind of mystical and a little, you know, spiritual. And I try to keep an open mind. We don't know.
Yeah. I
find certainty very suspicious. That's why I was kind of giving you a hard time.
About
I think.
the duck?
I've always been like that. I have often found it's very suspect. It can make life kind of difficult sometimes, but I mean.
See, and that's the adult in you, though. You're just like, I'm doubtful.
No, it's not. It doesn't mean that I am doubtful. It's more like I don't know. I think a healthy place to be is sort of two minds. So about a lot of things.
Yeah, you got to be open to stuff.
Yeah, man. I'll check it out. I'll look into it. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. Of course, I don't know. Man, I gotta pee so bad. So
right.
I think
go
I'm
home.
gonna.
We should wrap it up.
Yeah.
Wrap it up, B.
This has been fun, though.
It has been fun. Your coffee has got to be cold by now,
No,
too.
I'm not done with it, and I peeled off a little tab, and it's floating in there.
Sail away, sail away. Oh my God, Enya is like a bajillionaire and lives in a castle with her cats, and that's it.
You know, that's my thing, right? Like, Enya's...
Is Enya your thing?
I haven't really talked... This is tricky, because this is a big deal with me. Mm-hmm. Enya is a big deal to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it her reclusive nature or the music itself?
It goes back, like, really deep into childhood. I listened to Enya as a youth.
Huh.
Yeah. But, I have to pee too bad.
To go into this?
To go into it. Unfortunately, because it's a real center. It's a real center for me, but...
So you can always record yourself peeing, and then come back and explain.
Should I go pee in front of the drum circle? Okay, look at this. Look at the drum circle right now.
Uh-huh.
Which one of the idiots is nodding his head the most?
That's not a surprise.
Answer that.
It's the long-haired white guy.
Thank you.
Whoa.
But
with a bunch of, like, older black men who are, you know, fine. And
They're
really
fine.
chill about their drumming.
He's really happy to be included.
And the thing is, he doesn't look that included. Yeah, he's drumming, but he's like literally sitting off to the side. There's like a gap of hatred between him and the nearest guy.
No, that guy looked at him like, good job, buddy, you're on beat for a second.
Well, he's being nice. Dude's being kind. Nothing like a good drum circle.
Man, I guess I could pee. Or just go
You
in
could
the...
pee. Go pee. Go pee.
God damn it. Where? So just go in the bushes? There's a guy back there.
You gotta be...
There's a guy back there. Oh, he's...
Yeah, that guy's peeing, I think.
All right. I'm going to pee. I can still hear you, so...
I should just say things and be creepy?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh my God, Andy's gonna pee. I hope he doesn't get arrested. That's what those sirens are. They know what you're doing.
Oh my God, I feel so much better.
Your life's improved. I went to black camp as a kid.
What's black camp?
That's exactly what it sounds like. The name of my camp was...
What does it sound like? I don't know.
I went to the United African Movement Freedom Retreat as a kid from the ages of 8 to 13.
What, say it again?
The United African Movement Freedom Retreat.
Wow. Mm-hmm. What'd you do?
I mean, regular.
Did they have
normal
arts and crafts?
We did, like we. Someone shot a cop. You usually don't see that many helicopters if a cop hasn't been shot.
What? Really?
Yeah. Because it's been happening for a while, you noticed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was regular camp stuff, like, arts and crafts and swimming and horseback riding and like roller skating and stuff like that. And we also did like photography and learned how to make beads. We learned a little cosmetology, a whole lot of Black history, and I won the Black history competition every summer.
Yeah,
I was really good at that. And then we'd go it was like sleepaway camp for 2 weeks. Then there would always be the night where we just were camping for real, and just like legit, just sleeping bags under the stars in the middle of the woods.
Oh, that's awesome.
But as a person who's allergic to everything,
oh shit,
I'd go and die for 2 weeks every year.
Oh man,
like nights I'd have to just
Black camp.
We had Black camp.
Do you ever talk about this?
I do talk about Black camp sometimes on stage. I
did some material with you tonight. I'm sorry.
Oh, you know, it's funny because we talked about crab legs and I have crab leg material. I didn't.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do. It's very blue, and I did it last night at a show. And it was fun. It became an interactive experience with the crowd.
Do you know how many people were in that woods peeing when I went back there? There was like 12 guys back there, just all...
Everyone's just peeing at different...
No, they were
speeds.
just up to stuff, talking,
peeing,
smoking.
It was like a brotherhood.
Pot, yeah.
Yeah, see, these are the times where I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess a penis is useful.
Oh, right. That's not fair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. Thank you. I don't know.
Yay.
With the mic on. Oh, hello.
Hello.
It was funny. It was muffled.
Oh, yeah, because that was the sound of my chest against your chest.
That's our show. Sharron is on Twitter at Sharonica. Of course, we're on there at YarnworthPod. Also, what'syourYarnworth.com. Review us on iTunes. Support on Patreon. That's patreon.com/YarnworthPod. Next week, we'll be on the Staten Island Ferry with Comedy Central writer Tim Duffy. And he tells some pretty harrowing tales of the sea, of the harbor. What is that? The Hudson. Harrowing tales of the Hudson. All right, have a good 4th, everybody.